Hey guys, what's up? It's your man Pete, and today we're gonna get a little bit personal. A lot of people don't know this, but my brand is really about three things, right? It's about being passionate, being personal, and being professional. And I really spend a lot of time in my videos and content talking about the professional side and a little bit of the passionate side, but not really so much about the personal side. How I came to be a real estate agent, why I decided to become a real estate agent and broker, and maybe even set you guys off in a little bit of a direction of where I think I'm headed in my business. And maybe some of you might be interested in joining us at our brokerage so we can help and coach you and develop you into becoming a successful six-figure agent as well too. But the gist of the story is that I always wanted to run my own business. I wanted to become an entrepreneur. And I got inspired in high school around 16, 17 years old when we had a teacher. His name was Mr. Oyston. I don't know if he's still a teacher anymore today, but he certainly influenced me and certainly influenced a few of my fellow classmates and friends when I was in high school to possibly pursue a path as an entrepreneur, which at the time sounded very unconventional, right? Like who wants to, come out and start running their own business? Like that sounds crazy. It's so risky. It's so dangerous. But today we're going to delve into a little bit why I became a real estate agent and eventually a broker. We own our own company here because I think for people who actually know me personally, it might come as a bit of a surprise. So we'll get into a little bit of the personal side of things right after this, guys. So the reason why I wanted to do this video was I was interviewed last week by a small channel on YouTube, but they basically wanted to ask me and find out, what I think about the real estate market. They asked me my thoughts on the Zillow situation, but honestly, they didn't actually prepare me very much, and I thought they wanted to know my genesis story, so I started writing a script and preparing for it, and they never ended up asking me those questions. So I prepared it, and I'm going to do it in this video here because I wanted to share with you guys my own personal experience, what I've had to go through to get to where I am today, and maybe you can see some common links or bonds and things that you've done in your past that maybe would suit you and make you think you might want to pursue a career in real estate, running your own business as well too. But it really starts way back in the 80s, when my parents started buying property, bought their first townhouse in the west end of Toronto. And it was a really big moment for us because we were living in a rented apartment for a few years at the time. I think I was still pretty young, but it was a big deal because we finally moved to a place that had stairs. It actually felt like a house. It was quiet, but we ended up moving into that house and I was so happy. I felt like we were part of a community. We had family close by. It was totally awesome and it felt like a whole new world. It felt like a whole new environment. About a year to a year and a half later, my parents decided that they wanted to move again because the market was so hot. Houses were just going up like I think $30, $40, $50,000 at the time, which was a lot of money. But eventually what happened was they got stuck. They ended up moving from a townhouse to a semi-detached property with a somewhat finished basement, but they bought at the height. They bought at the peak of 1989 and 1990 when interest rates were, I think, hovering around 18% or 20 something percent. It was absolutely bonkers. And so due to their lack of education and just sort of riding the wave and just riding the bubble, they got caught up and the market tanked. Now, I'm not going to say that the market is in a similar situation right now because the environment is pretty much completely different. We don't have those ridiculous interest rates and the fundamentals are a lot stronger today, which explains why we're pretty much on a 20-year run in real estate right now. But the point is that due to their lack of education, wanting and willingness to try to change their life by moving properties and moving quickly, they hadn't assessed the situation properly. They hadn't understood what was really going on and they found themselves overpaying. And during those years in the early to almost late 90s, housing prices didn't do anything. In fact, they collapsed and the economy collapsed. It was hard to get a job. And so what happened was my dad was, somewhat in the trades. He was a cabinet maker. And so he was able to help us renovate the basement, finish it up, and we could rent it out and start collecting some income because obviously money was really tight. It was hard to get by during those times. And so I'm so grateful and I'm so proud that my parents were able to do that. At some point we even had our dining room rented out as well too. Like half of the house was rented to tenants. So it sort of just shows you the modesty and the humility that comes from my background and where we actually came from. It was a humbling time, but it was also a very fun time and I learned a lot. At a very young age, I sort of became a property manager. We were getting calls and I was telling people to come over and I was showing them the room and the property. I didn't really talk to them about rent and money, but because I was home and my parents were working, so sometimes random weird strangers would come by. From a very young age, I was already a property manager. From a very young age, I was already showing properties, which is pretty ridiculous considering considering how we think about kids today in 2021. And then my sister, who is a doctor today, was actually very into interior design and style and decor. You know, she didn't want to live in an old house. She hated it. And so she wanted to, you know, just do some light touch-ups, some updating to the property. So combined with my dad's budget, renovation skills, and my sister's sort of sense of style and decor, you know, just a simple coat of paint, you know, some new shelves here and there, it really made our place look a lot better over the years, even though the property wasn't going up in value and we were consistently collecting rent for easily 14, 15 years. And so these are the skills that I've learned to develop, which is to make a property look good, to make it look more expensive than it actually is. And of course, to see the potential of sectioning off and renting out additional space that you're not using. Of course, Airbnb did not exist at the time. You know, you were certainly able to rent out rooms and units, but it's because of all those lessons and because of what happened to my parents that it really inspired me and motivated me to say, I really want to become good at real estate. I really want to understand property. I really want to understand markets and urban settings and people patterns and jobs and employment and economics and all of those things. And so that's why I talk about all of these things on my channel, not to show off what I know, but to help you guys, to give you information on how you can navigate yourself, you know, how you can save money, how you can purchase your first property, how you can expand the use of your property so that you can get more rental income and support yourself. Because make no mistake about it, property values are getting expensive, really expensive. And my gut feeling says that it's probably going to get even more expensive. So we have to find creative and innovative solutions and strategies to sort of help you weather through the tough times. So of course, the circumstances and the situations are much different today. Home prices are up to the millions. And so now it's really just becoming a race of trying to get into the market as soon as you can, as early as you can, so you can ride the wave and take advantage. So I had this conversation with the son of a friend of mine who's about 20 years old right now. And, you know, he keeps thinking that he's not going to be able to purchase a property. So he's like, you know, sort of like giving up on it. What I want to point out to them is to not get too fearful, to not get too scared. The key thing for you between the ages of 20 and 30 years old is you gotta save money. You gotta work hard. You gotta develop skills. You have to build a career or build a business so that you can buy real estate. I've been saying it for years that buying real estate, owning property is a privilege. It's not a right. It's not something that you deserve to have. It's not just given to you because you're a resident. I came into real estate like how some people become doctors, right? Like they get affected by cancer, and so their dream and their goal and their passion is to become a doctor who's gonna go into cancer research. In my case, it's not quite that dramatic. I just want to help people make money. I want to help people make the right moves. I want people to think clearly, even though the market is spiking every single year, every single quarter, and sometimes every single month. And so my business and my channel is completely centered around helping you, helping people become successful, helping people build wealth over generations so that you have something in the end, not just for yourself when you retire, but also so you can share with your kids and pass it on. So that's basically the gist of my story. That's basically how I came into real estate, why I came into real estate. Another deciding factor was I've always wanted to run my own business. I've always wanted to be a personal brand builder. And so what other business can I do it in better than this? So if there's anyone that's watching this that's wondered why I came into the real estate business, or anybody who knows me, at the end of the day, I want to help people. Of course, I want to help myself. But what brings me the greatest satisfaction and fulfillment is making sure that people are happy, making sure that people are making the right decisions. Real estate takes a lot of money. It takes a lot of discipline to even save up all that money, moving up in your career and business to be able to afford property. And it eventually becomes this sort of big trophy for you. And it should be a symbolic representation of you and your success. So I hope this video was helpful to you in some way, maybe a little bit hopeful and inspiring, because obviously we would like to have other agents who have the same mindset and philosophy here at our brokerage. If you want to talk a little bit more about that, email is in the description below. We'd love to chat with you and see if you might be a good fit for our brokerage here. But yeah, overall, at the end of the day, we're here to help and serve others. That's what our job is. And you have to develop expertise, experience, and of course you have to work with the right people so you have the right knowledge to share with your clients, friends, and family, because again, like I always say, real estate people were the original influencers. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please hit the subscribe button, give us a like, feel free to leave a comment if you want to chat with me directly about buying and selling and investing property, or you're also interested in becoming an agent and you want to sort of work in a mentor-mentee relationship with me so I can help you develop your career. I'll be happy to have that conversation as well too. So we'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks again for watching, and bye for now. And I was also the yearbook editor, which indirectly influenced me in wanting to make videos and content. So your past is definitely a very good indication for where your future is heading, and we always have to look for those clues and hints, the things that we really like, the things that we really enjoyed. That gives us a sense of where we should be moving next in our careers or in our businesses.